So looking at, just everything that we heard tonight, we know our job now is to be talking about our current mission statement. At this time, we do not all have to have our selves on mute. This is just that open conversation where we can start sharing our ideas and thoughts based on what we are hearing tonight. Thank you, Christy. So I think one of those first questions we had were, is this lofty, inspirational, and focused on what our district does? Why do we exist? What's our purpose?
I feel like in this day and age, I thought that the mission statement when it was made was appropriate and it kind of fit where we were as a district, but I feel now, as we lead more into having kids, talking about positivity and community and humility and responsibility and integrity and respect, that it might be nice to have a mission statement that kind of includes some of those things, for children to be thinking about. And
I agree with that, especially the community component of it. I think the mission statement is fine, so I sort of went through the thought process, kind of just trying to imagine, what a student coming out of D46 maybe should have coming out of that educational environment. And I think one of those, so I just jotted down like a list of like 3 things. And one of those was certainly a sense of community, both in terms of being supported by and a responsibility towards. So both of those sort of community components. And I think that, so District 46 has been a great experience for my kids, but I think there's opportunities to grow. And I think that really being a cornerstone of the community is one of those opportunities.
And we are supposed to reflect upon 5 points, right? Like based on that group activity. So there are pros and cons. So I'll go with the positives. I think it kind of meets number 4 and 5. It uses non-passive powerful verbs, which is okay. And then like number 5 is like clear goals and actions will flow from it. I agree. Like, because out of that, like you can make all the actions that are needed. So those are positives. And then now if you talk about negatives, the first 3, I don't think that it meets, it falls short. For lack of better words, I think like it is so 1980s. So not short and powerful, and it's too generic, too formal, and I don't think like it's kind of modern and it appeals to today's generation. That is my thought.
I agree. I think it could be much more impactful if it were more concise.
I was kind of browsing around looking at different ones, and I came across one and it said, to prepare students to achieve beyond expectations, lead with great character and positivity, and impact our community and each other. And I kind of added some of my own stuff, but took it from another school district. I don't even know where it was or anything, but they had it kind of like the achieve was highlighted and then beyond expectations. Like it was just like a quick, it wasn't in like the paragraph per se, but more as like, achieve and then beyond expectations, lead with, and I just thought it kind of summed things up. And then, having those other words that kind of came to my mind with respect and responsibility and integrity and humility. So maybe picking the words that we think are the most important and putting them into that general idea.
Yeah, I like especially the action words that are highlighted in the mission statement that you just gave as an example.
Cassie, can you speak a little bit to the library's strategic plan? I know you just went through this too. What is their mission?
Yeah, so we developed a mission, a vision, and identified some core values. So our mission at our library is connecting community, enriching lives, inspiring ideas.
That's
So
good.
we had a lot of conversations too about, trying to make it something that would be memorable, something that was active, but, trying not to make it entirely a slogan. So there were like some really great things that came up in the discussions that we had, because we developed that about a year ago or so. But
and there's something that's inspiring, and there's something to be said about the link between something being impactful and inspirational. And I think it can be both, and I think those are two separate things. So it can be impactful and have like a weight to it, but like credit card company slogans are impactful because they're going to get you to sign up for a credit card company. But the slogan you just shared, Cassie, was it's kind of that, it's got that metaphysical inspiration too in it, and it makes you feel something, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah. That's good. I really enjoyed hearing that one.
Likewise.
Can you repeat it one more time, Kathy, please?
Yeah, I'll type it into the chat box. But connecting community, enriching lives, inspiring ideas.
Also, while reading through all this, like one other slogan kind of comes to my mind, which probably is more impactful, is kind of dream big. So the idea is to inspire and educate students, right? And like with all the connecting community, enriching lives, inspiring, like everything, maybe I think that dream big is probably something powerful that'll align with that.
I particularly like the dream. I think that's a helpful verb to potentially include. I think so. Do we need to take a step back though, because I think one of the questions that he presented was essentially what to do with this old mission statement. Can it be tweaked? Can it be? Should we keep it? Should we tweak it? Or should we scrap it and start over? So, I mean, from this discussion, it sort of sounds like we should scrap and start over. I mean, I think as Miss Boxer said, hi, Miss Boxer, as you mentioned, it obviously served its purpose and was appropriate for the time. But I think sort of the short answer to that question is scrap and start over. Am I wrong? Or right? I don't know. Okay, so I mean, we've answered that question, and I guess at this point now we can start talking about opportunities and structure for the new one. Cassie, I really liked the structure of your mission statement as well, sort of the trifecta. I mean, I feel like, when grouped in threes, things tend to be, memorable and sort of stick with you. And I like, I like that it has those impactful verbs paired with, those really relatable nouns, I guess, if you will. My English teachers probably wouldn't be very proud of me right now. But so, I mean, I think that's a really good maybe structure to sort of springboard off of.
I agree.
Maybe the next step is to start thinking about the verbs that we like, the verbs.
Yeah.
Yes, connecting, enriching, and inspiring. And if we do want to use local resources, it might be nice to piggyback off of that too, or connect to it somehow. I really love the word connecting, partnering,
Same.
something like that.
And I think that could really go align with, a potential opportunity for the district to serve,
And I think in the old mission statement that we're working off of right now, it doesn't really speak very much to the students. Exactly, it just says, we'll maximize the potential of all students, but it's not very centered on the students.
Yeah,
so,
it
puts them in kind of a passive role. So I think, a better mission statement would, really try to recenter them and consider kind of put them at the forefront. What do we want to see the output be for the students? We want to empower them. Do we want to, teach them to be great citizens and things like that?
Absolutely. So,
and also, should we use the word empower or is nurture better? Nurturing comes across to me as more compassionate, and empowering is like it sounds to me like you are talking from the position of power or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So nurturing is probably that comes out as service oriented.
I mean, I like your suggestion of dream. I mean, I think that's a fantastic sort of, both noun and verb, let's face it. And I think that that's inclusive to students and administration and staff. So maybe we can kind of add that to a short list of verbs that we like.
I'm wondering, are we getting too far ahead of ourselves by already thinking of the verbs? Yeah. I don't know.
We might be. We're just overachievers right now, Kristen.
I just don't know what to type next. I'm like, wait.
I do really like the word empower because I feel like it puts it in the hands of the children. Like we're empowering them to be their best self.
Mm-hmm.
I like the verb cultivate, especially cultivate citizens.
That's a great one. Yeah.
I think we should consider engage as well, because I think that's an important role that students will use as they get older and become leaders in their own right.
My dog is like barking at something and won't stop.
If only you could speak dog. Your dog is probably giving us great verbs right now.
Play with me. Throw my toy.
I do have to say the one thing that I do like about the current statement, I'm with scrapping the old one, but the one part that does stick with me is the developing a lasting appreciation for learning. That's something that, I just feel strongly about, that people should never stop growing. So it doesn't have to be said just like that, but somehow incorporate the idea that people should always continue. We want to start instilling that love of learning so that people continue and want to do that. Kids want to do that their whole life,
Yeah. Sort of like promoting a sense of curiosity.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of. Curiosity. Promoting curiosity or cultivating curiosity or whatever, but curiosity.
Oh, I like cultivating curiosity. That's good.
I think also resilience, and maybe someone can help me with a verb, but I think resilience is going to be important for our kids, for all of us moving into post-COVID life.
I think you're absolutely right. When I was sort of jotting down just kind of like, an idea of what a student could exit D46, having acquired, I wrote down a sense of grit. I don't know, same sort of concept though. Not really sure how to say that very, inspiring and eloquently. I don't think grit is the right word by any means.
Sometimes you just have to say it, though. We just want to push through and come grow on the other side of it, right?
Yeah.
Should we even use the words or phrases like academic excellence and things like that, or will that be goals? Like, I think that probably will fit in as a goal rather than a mission statement.
So I loved the concept that Miss Boxer's example held, the one that was exceeding expectations. I think that that's a really good concept and an all-inclusive one, Okay. And I think I think that's a measurable concept as well. So I think if we can, I know it might be kind of a tall order, but if we could include some form of a measurable goal to
that is the reason I thought of academic excellence, maybe
Yeah.
since that is measurable. And but at the same time, I'm not sure if it would be appropriate for goal or is it appropriate for a mission statement. That's where I'm a little confused.
Yeah. Like achieving beyond expectation, like not just
that's what it was. Yeah. I mean, I love that concept if it, can be worded in a relevant way.
Well, that's a good word, relevant too, right? I want our kids to have a relevant education, something that that inspires them, but they can use, they can build on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kristen, I can't read all the words that you have. The screen is the font is too small. Could you just read them? Would you mind, please?
Yes, some of the words that we've said. Yeah, sure. Let's see. I said we really like the words empower, engage, cultivate as it relates to students.
Mm-hmm.
And then also like cultivating curiosity, someone said, and then the word resilience. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't put a word for this. It just said to include some type of achieving or goal type statement in it. And then the word a relevant education, or phrase a relevant education.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think one more concept that might be important to address from the previous mission statement was how they pointed out the inclusivity of all students. I think that it's important to sort of identify ourselves as inclusive. I almost don't think it's all that necessary to include it in the mission statement because I honestly feel like it should be an underlying assumption. Like I don't think that we should necessarily have to call it out because I feel like it should be just part of the blood of the organization, if you will. But I think it's an important concept that might be, especially sort of right now, this day and age, we might consider needing to address it in some way. I don't know if it can be part of the goals or, part of some sort of extension of the mission statement, or maybe we should include it in the mission statement itself. But I do think that it's an important concept, at least, to address and discuss.
So I don't know if everyone heard that or not, or if you're keeping track of time yourselves, but that was our timer to return already back to that group. So this discussion has just been amazing and such a great start for our first day. So thank you so much for everybody and the thoughts and ideas that you are contributing to this process. As you know, as we return, we need a spokesperson. Do we have anyone who would like to take that role?
I mean, I can jump up if no one. I'll take it.
I think you should do it. You've been doing a great job. I say go for it.
So before we take off, then just I want to make sure that I sort of communicate, effectively what we concluded. So the answer to the first question on what to do with the mission statement is our bottom line. Short answer is scrap it and start fresh. Additionally, on top of that, we discussed sort of the structure of the new mission statement, as in we kind of liked, the trio. And then we also discussed sort of potential verbs. And I assume we're going to, continue that discussion to pair up with nouns and stuff like that. Does that summarize it, or am I missing anything?
Could you just add the idea of connecting to other local organizations
Absolutely.
That we looked at the libraries, because we spent a little time on that.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Kinley.
Julia. No problem. I'm pretty sure it's my daughter's name.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I'll have to tell her I saw you, Miss Foxer. She's going to be excited. Okay, so now we need to go